phase of the MTN Elite One Championship opens this weekend, and teams have just one shot at 3 points and at saving their season. It's just this time or never. Well, today is going to be an interesting show, everybody. Welcome to La Presse of le match right here on Spectrum Television. Today, we roll back the curtains on the first half of the championship. We take a look at the 120 games played and the numerous goals scored. I mean, we have names that are definitely buzzing in the championship, like Serge Dora, Kalgon Kada, those that are leading the top scorer chart. And we talk about them, their achievements, and also look at the games programmed for this weekend. It's going to be exciting here in Douala. Eglo Jumongo against Stade Rina, and one that City Doualas are definitely looking forward to, Les As of Douala against Union Sportif of Douala. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Now, to talk about all of this, I have very exciting guests. I'll start with, first of all, obviously, the ladies before gentlemen, or the lady before the gentleman. It's none other than sports journalist Magdel Eyong Biso. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Ladonette. Good evening to the other co-panelists, and thank you once again for accepting or inviting me to share your platform. I always love to be here because I get the opportunity. Most of the times, I'm always the only lady on set that's aside me, you as host, and I get to learn a lot. I feel privileged, and I get to learn from my big brothers, fine brains, who are always on this platform. So thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the sports program today, and I hope it's going to be a wonderful ride with you until the end of the program. And I'm particularly happy to see by my left my big brother Abubakar Sayani, who was querying me backstage. Magdala, you have to do this. He always corrects me, but then at the end of the day, correction is for you to learn. So Sayani, bonsoir.
Well, I like that. Sayani is definitely blushing. Sayani, it's just that you are black. I would have seen like some touch of pink around your jaw, but it doesn't show when you're dark. So Sayani, I'm happy to have you here, sports journalist, always in the stadium. I was with Sayani in Buea on Saturday. Today on Monday, he's in Douala. Tomorrow, you might see him in Garo. I mean, he's everywhere. How do you do that, Sayani?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oni?
Yes.
The young lady here. Good evening, Magdalene. I'm proud. Good evening, Emil. It's a pleasure for me to be with the girls that I live my daily life with them. It's a special day with me because I've been here all the time with Oni, but today the second is there, Magdel. We always share together on a daily basis. It's a pleasure also to have Emil. Greetings to all televiewers and lovers of La Presse REFAIT match.
Well, I did ask you a question.
Yes.
How do you do it, being everywhere at the same time? You're not the wind, are you?
Well, it's just organization. It's just organization. We have to save football. Football is not in offices, as I used to tell people in forums. Want to know about football, you have to go down beaches to get information, and I was proud to be with Magdel and you at the Buea Muliko Stadium for the official launching of the Southwest Regional Football. That was a come-and-see event. People that were not there will always wait to get information from Magdel, from ONI before making use of it. But it is
sorry.
Let
me not take your place, but I just want to say, in essence, does this mean that sometimes you do not plan, you do not program this, but when duty calls, as in you just pick up your bags and you go?
No, that's not the case, but I always organize myself. I mentioned that for example, I was supposed to be in Yaoundé. For today's event that we all know, but I just canceled the program to attend to this program, so I shouldn't have problem with Oni. But I always plan my journey. And for example, I was just discussing on backstage with one of your technicians that after the games of on Sunday in Douala that you did announce. I will leave Sunday night for Yaoundé to follow the program of the Indomitable Lions, the training session, the press conference. On Tuesday, the game. After the game, we have 2 Elite One games. On Wednesday in Yaoundé. On Thursday, 2 Elite One games in Yaoundé. Have a rest on Friday. On Friday, you have forget the Super League and Elite 2. On Sunday, another Elite game. So the week is
it's charged. Yeah. You know, just a quick question. Sorry that we're putting you on the spot, but you know, you're a father of children. Don't they miss you at home? Daddy is not there. How does it work? You know, trying to, you know, cover up all doing your professional life and doing fatherly work at home as well.
No, I'm lucky to have 2 big kids, 2 big guys that we share together. They're not more my kids today. They're my brothers.
Okay.
Sani Abdelaziz and Sani Ahmed. They are all my brothers, so we share together. I tell you, hey guys, I'm going to be out for more than a week. Take good care of yourself.
Okay.
We chat on phone when there's anything up, just signal me, we talk. So it's no call for concern.
No call for concern. Well, there's definitely no call for concern because we have another guest with us right here. It's KZ Emil. We're always happy to have Emil here because he brings us a touch of something different, especially when it comes to, you know, the Northwest team, because he's particularly interested in the Northwest team. PWD has been picking up, Young Sports Academy hasn't, but I guess Emil has a lot to say about these 2 teams, one that we will get to talk about in the course of the show. Emil, welcome.
Thank you, Oni. Good evening, Oni. Good evening, Chef panelists. It's a pleasure for me to be here and to analyze the Northwest Football League and to talk about the first divisional team who are present from the Northwest taking part in the MTN Elite One. Actually, we are going through a lot of stress this period. We are happy that one of the team is getting up, but the other man is going down. So it doesn't match what we want from the Northwest because we are expecting to have 3 teams in the Elite One next year. So actually, we are going through a lot of stress. I can say, us from the Northwest, we are going through a lot of stress because we are not seeing the vision coming to realization.
Okay.
But we are praying and we are hoping that this second phase of the league, things are going to be different. Hoping that we have had a new coach for Young Sport Academy, hoping that he's going to do a great job and things will change.
I must say courage to those teams because, you know, for quite some time they play out of their base. Yeah, so it is not all that easy to play out of your base. You know, the fans have to pay transport from all the time to leave Northwest to come to West Region. It's not all that easy. Kudos to the president, the supporters, and the players themselves.
Kudos to everyone. Kudos to the presidents, the supporters, and everyone out there making our football great. Well, there you have it, our guest of the day. It's time for us to get into the show proper. Remember, you talked about the Northwest Regional League. You know, the opening was scheduled for this Saturday. Unfortunately, it has been pushed to March 22nd. There we will see teams in the Northwest region come together to produce a champion that will represent the Northwest region at the National Interpol. So it's going to be an interesting one. The Southwest has taken the lead alongside the West region. So we would just join them and see how that goes. Well, it's time for us to get into the show. We'll start first with the first segment, which is definitely the Elite News. It's no news that the Southwest Regional League has opened over there in the Southwest region. Well, that was at the Muliko Stadium in Boya on Saturday. We saw 3 crunch fixtures. Unfortunately, just one team carried home the day, and that is none other than the Joko Boys. I mean, it's Fako United that got the win, 1-0 against Tico United after the 2 earlier fixtures ended in a draw. Well, it was an exciting one with lots of, spectators as well as administrators to come witness that game. We saw, the mayor of Kumba, Gregory Mewanu, leave right Meme to come and see his team, Kumba City FC, play against Legend Football Academy. It was an exciting one. Let's relive that moment in this report. The 2024-2025 football season of the Southwest Regional League has officially kicked off on Saturday at the Boya Muliko Stadium, setting the stage for an exciting campaign. The day's fixture were nothing short of electrifying, with 3 crunch matches that left fans on the edge of their seats. The opening match saw Boya City FC take on Al Jazeera SA in a midday showdown that ended in a stalemate, with both sides sharing the spoils in a 1-1 draw. This result was mirrored in the Meme Division clash between Kumba City and Legend Football Academy, which also concluded with the same scoreline. The highlight of the day was undoubtedly the highly anticipated matchup between Fako United and Tico United. In a closely contested affair, Fako United's Joku boys managed to secure a narrow 1-0 victory thanks to a goalkeeping error that proved decisive.
Semi-proud, let me say semi-proud, because it's the beginning of our championship and we still have a long way to go, because the objective of every regional championship is to produce a champion that will at the end of the day go to the national intercourse, compete with the other sister regions and see that they should pick a ticket to the national Elite 2 competition.
The event was well attended by regional officials, including the representative of the governor of the Southwest region, the mayor of Kumba, alongside Fecafoot's food vice president, Biga Felix, who was on hand to witness the thrilling kickoff.
I think I just want to encourage the teams that played, because I really impressed myself by watching a beautiful game here. I want to encourage them that they should continue this same spirit, so that next year we should have another Elite 2 team in this region, so that we shall have a better representation.
The inclusion of teams from Kumba in the opening fixture was a notable aspect of the kickoff, despite the division not being able to host the prestigious curtain raiser due to the absence of suitable stadium. However, the mayor has promised significant improvements in the near future.
In the nearest future, Le Boisson de Cameroon is putting 500 million francs already. We have the meeting on the 18th, which means that it is to conclude the construction of the stadium in Kumba, and the problem will be solved. Many more are also still forthcoming. The Fecafoot president, the national president for Fecafoot, Samuel Etofis, is also looking forward, building a Fecafoot stadium in Kumba.
Match day 1 concluded on Sunday with a series of intriguing matches. Kamjo SA suffered a heavy defeat, losing 0-3 to Bestas Academy, while Continental FA and Dream Soccer played out a thrilling 2-2 draw. The fixture between Boya United and Elexport was marred by Boya United's absence, while Option Sport secured a hard-fought 3-2 victory over Isafup. Waspito FF also failed to show up for their match against Bright Stars in Kumba, and Future Dreams urged out Kumba Lakers with a narrow 1-0 win at the GPS field. 3 fixtures to complete day 1, the one that a few of them has been played today. Well, we have the game that's none other than Talented AC against Ates, where Talented AC got the best of Ates, 3-0, and also another fixture that was definitely an exciting one for people to watch over there in the Southwest region is Senior Def against Destiny Restoration SA. It's still 0-0 and it's the first half. That's ongoing. Well, we'll definitely bring you more updates in a subsequent edition of La Presse Refait le Match, so make sure you stick around. Now, talk about some of those games played in the opener. Legend Football Academy, first of all, against the second game of the day, Kumba City FC against Legend Football Academy. Well, it was quite a tough one for these teams that travelled from the Meme Division right up to Boya, to Fako, to, thrill the fans in the stadium. Well, that game, first of all, was a great one. K-Town Derby, Enoka of Kumba City FC put the team ahead, 1-0, just 5 minutes into that game. And at halftime, it was quite a tense moment in the dressing room of Legend Football Academy, with the team's coach galvanizing his boys and the president, Enoch Kingsley, coming in and putting 100,000 francs as a bonus for the team if the team can get a win. Well, let's take a look at that.
Then I see we get really concentrate. We get our effort. They don't score me, yes. If you score again. Mais we no fear. You know fi play. Nagani, you know fi play. What you français, you not always day one. You don't enter, Get confidence, we are safe. They not get for food. They get too full away. They get too full away. Calm down myself, play ball. Don't pressure on the day. The ball not get fire. Okay, cool. I beg all who are asleep, win this game.
We must win the game. Yes, we must win the game. I talked from the beginning. Now the money is 100,000. Now we don't Coach, I want 100,000 this. I'm thinking they win the ball. They take a good luck.
I guess that was a motivating factor because Legend Football Academy came back. We had a substitute, Wayang, that came in and from a header actually, leveled the game for Legend Football Academy, and that was it. Well, after that, we did ask the president and he told us that he gave the boys 80,000 francs because it was definitely a tough one against Kumba CTFC. Well, away from that game, it's not only that game that we had the opportunity to visit the dressing room. Tico United against Fako United. We had none other than Coach Dominique, a former coach of Bang Bullet, now coaching Tico United. During halftime, he had a sit down with the boys as well. During halftime, yes, they were down by 1-0. And it was time for him to galvanize the boys. Unfortunately, that did not yield to any results as the side lost to Fako United by 1-0. But it was actually a great moment shared with this team. Let's take a look at that.
No pressure. No pressure. Let's play this ball. But now, please, let's ball on target. That's my problem. Ball on target. Let's shoot the ball on target. You get me? Please. This is first statement. We still have 45 minutes to play. We can make it. We can make it. It's okay. Yes, coach. We can make it. So please, courage.
Okay. First, attitude. Mouzon, we play away match where referee not there with me. You do some unnecessary anger. You don't come over without the one head man. It's not called for. We don't need it. Concentrate. Okay? You don't fall without this, so you don't match man again. I say referee no see him. That's one. The game is good. We just need to build the block, especially at the up front. They are playing like this. We are playing like this. Very wide. Onana is always there alone. He tracks this way. This man stays here. When he tracks this way, you stand there. He can trick this ball for me and play with you here. How do you call him? Marion and Paul. Pendant que Onana vient faire le pressing dans votre zone, vous êtes calé sur le couloir. C'est pas normal. Il faut à tout prix qu'on ait un avançant au point là-bas. Tant que les erreurs on corrige. On joue trop latéralement. C'est pas bon. Ok? C'est pas bon. On entre maintenant avec le 2-6. Le 2-6, vous avez serré le problème. Le 2-6, mais 2-6. Parce que vous n'avez pas de ligne for defender. They get now midfielder with the field goal button this week. When ball they far away, on a leave this two for them, they take one man. It's not dangerous. They take one man, they wanna play deep. They don't play. Now we don't decide to give them one goal. We don't decide to give them one goal. And I don't want any quarreling. There's nothing we are losing here. I told you guys we are going home with all 3 points. Stay focused. All 3 points. Let's concentrate. We are going in there to make difference. And then at 1-9, all the night go back because they win. That 1-9 if you start their front, 2 will open so you try to begin. Start go for Bumson. If you want to go above, you can't play. Dans les latérales droites, ils nous défendent. Paul, c'est vrai. That man will play right. You know, define lateral droite. You know, define at all. So,
Zidane, when we go try for climbing and support. If when Zidane will climb, wait for inside small. Yeah? Because Zidane will climb now, wait for inside. That moment we play 2 nowhere small. So we try for concentrate for them, use that side. I bet when we shop on the line, we take what time cut ball. We take what time cut ball. Make we not forget to shoot. We have to shoot. If we don't shoot, we will not score.
Well, there you have it. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're supposed to say they did not shoot because he says they should shoot. Because if they don't shoot, they will not score. But they did not score at the end of the day. But we've listened to, two teams, halftime talks from 2 teams. And I'm tempted to ask, is that a certain winning formula for what you tell your players at halftime? Because we see Legend comes in and gets an equalizer. Tico United couldn't. What exactly... I mean, how does it happen at that point?
But, the president or the coaches, their role is to give the advice. You give the advice, you correct the mistakes of first half. At times, it can work. At times, it doesn't work. Because while you are doing, the other team is also doing the same. They can be leading. They prepare themselves to score a second goal to maintain the scoreline, the lead. But at times, when you come in, the guys can respect and do it the right way and you get the goals. So it is just at times a lot.
2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah, 2 sides of the same coin, as you just said. As at times it's luck because players at times. That's why at times they need to be disciplined. At times we've seen teams that consider a goal at the first minute. They remain calm. They remain disciplined, no quarrel. They encourage each other. And I remember when I was in Yaoundé for the game of the under-17 the female national team against Ethiopia, I discussed with Mabu, Jessica, the goalkeeper. They considered the goal at the first minute. Ethiopia scored at the first minute. She told me I was very calm. I discussed I encouraged my defenders, and the coach himself was very calm. These encouraged the girls to maintain that fighting spirit, to equalize and take the lead of the game. At times, the communication, at that moment, if the coach made a wrong communication, maybe Ethiopia will have scored the second goal. So, football, that's why the most important thing in football is to manage 90 minutes. The communication, the words you use, and the assistance, game reading. You have to read the game. What is going wrong? While you are managing the game, the assistants have to read the game. This time around, the Tico defensive left back is not all that good. We have a very good winger on the bench. The guy can get into the game and use that position to give us some chances for us to get another goal. So these are things coaches have to know. And at times, you do it and it works. At times, you do it and doesn't work. At times, the other team, they can have lapses, but they don't see the lapses. But the opponent, with the assistant coaches, they observe the lapses and call the head coach, say, hey, guy, those guys, that defense line is down. They're tired. We need to bring in new blood, attackers that they need to fight, need to run, push them to the wall, and bring us the goals.
Just to add, against Legend Football Academy, against Kumba City for Legend Football Academy, one remark that was made during the dressing room was they weren't varying their attacking options. Reasons why they did that substitution when they came in, removed a guy called Ronaldo, brought in Wayang to vary their attacking options, and they got the goal from the head. Now, McDell, it's 24 teams scattered across 4 groups, 8 teams containing 8 teams. The Southwest region has produced for the last 2 seasons. What?
6 teams.
Oh, 6 teams. Thank you. Yes, the Southwest region has produced, teams that have gone to become champions. Isosa, Victoria United. But last year, they were booted out in the group stages. You look at these teams,
we are United.
Yes. You look at these teams, we are United, thank you. You look at these teams, you think, what do you think about the championship? Do you think it's going to be competitive enough to produce such a competitive champion, or a champion that can, battle against the other champions in the other regions?
The first matches tell. I mean, it was evident from the first matches. Well, we are hoping because Well, let me not put it this way, but it's no news that somehow during the end of the championship we start getting controversies. But we are hoping that it doesn't be the case this time. We are hoping to see a more competitive competition, a more competitive league. From the opening day of play already tells you that these teams have been preparing and they deserve to fight and work for their positions in the mini Interpols, and why not the national Interpol, seek a ticket to the national Interpol. Well, I would want to start by saying that let me borrow the words of the representative of FECAFOOT's president, that's Samuel Eto'o, in person of the Food Vice National President, Mr. Biga Felix, who said to the press, he told the press, the teams from Kumba were the best teams I watched today. I'm using today in quotes, okay?
Yeah, the first
today,
day,
the first day of play, the opening games. And let me not say unarguably, let me say arguably, because it may be what he saw, it's his opinion, and what I saw, I want to buy his side, and I would say it clearly that the teams from Kumba, they thrilled the fans indeed. They gave fans the joy. I mean, fans were in awe of the performance witnessed on the pitch. If you watch the 3 games that were staged on that day, Tico United, Fako United was a very intense game. And why was it intense, or maybe why were the fans so thrilled? Because, truth be told, that was the most anticipated encounter. We are talking about 2 teams, well-known teams. We are talking about clash of the Uniteds, Tico United, one of the oldest clubs we have in the Southwest region, and we are equally talking about Fako United and Joku Boys, who since 2 seasons back have been fighting their way to the mini Interpols, and why not, they have been seeking a ticket to the national Interpol. So that was the most anticipated encounter. The others were not as anticipating as the other ones, but I'll tell you that after witnessing those games, the teams from Kumba thrilled the fans and the spectators the most. We saw beautiful football coming from the teams from Kumba, and this is to tell us that they are not left out. They are trying to pass a message to make everyone understand that we want a fair and competitive game. This is to say, if we are playing this good football on the first day, we are trying to show you that we can do more, and we deserve a chance in the national Interpol, in the mini Interpols, and why not the national Interpols? That was very beautiful football we witnessed. Equally, I would want to say kudos to Best Stars Academy of Limbe, because for the longest time now, they've made everyone understand that they are the academicians and arguably the best academy we have in the Southwest region as of now, because those children not only disciplined somehow, but they execute instructions from their president coach, Njofak Sachere. I had the opportunity to interview him after the game, and he mentioned that he doesn't tolerate indiscipline. I was curious, I asked the question. We know of a goalkeeper, one of your goalkeepers, Desmond. He's a very fine goalkeeper, a very wonderful goalkeeper. But I'm talking, as I speak to you right now, he's in the stands, what's happening, and the only thing he could tell me, I don't tolerate indiscipline, but I'll tell you that this player remains my player. He remains my son. He has his license, he has everything, but I am not sending him away. I'm only giving the opportunity to realize and come to his senses. He needs to understand that when he sees another person take the lead, he will understand that there is competition in this game, and he will come back on track. So that was a very beautiful response I got from a coach and a president. Definitely he's acting like a father. And somehow I felt he misses that guy, because he's one of the best goalkeepers Best Star Academy has us at now. And we know that Best Star has been very good in producing good goalkeepers in the region, as well as strikers, and evidence of their hard work. Of course, we saw it yielded fruits, as we saw Best Star Academy. They recorded the biggest win of the day. Well, I will not say Option Sport failed to do same, but when I call it the biggest win of the day is because they kept a clean sheet, while Option Sport recorded they scored with the same score line, but they conceded 2 goals. So I would want to say kudos to Best Star Academy and to all the other teams that fought hard on match day 1 to leave with at least a point. Well, I know demeaning words. It doesn't mean that the other teams did not prepare enough. For example, Tico United, they gave Fako United a run for their money. Tico United put up a very good fight against Fako United, and I bet you that the game of football, we should not say it was just after they scored a true penalty or after a goalkeeper by mistake. Football, even if it's a penalty, it's a goal. It's a win. It's a win. So at the end of the day, what do you do to avoid conceding? It's to ensure that you don't as well concede a penalty, so that you don't get to that level. But if it gets to the level where a goal comes in via penalty or via a mistake from the goalkeeper, we need to accept it. But I would still want to say kudos to Tico United, because they really put up a good fight against Fako United. And please, I want to end by saying, I want to react on what Sayani was saying. We should be mindful of the way we communicate, especially when it comes to defeat. I would want to particularly talk about a club. I would not want to call the names of the persons I heard it from, but I felt so bad when I heard when Kamjo lost to Besta Academy, and I heard players were throwing tantrums left, right, and center, demeaning words to their or rather derogatory words to fellow colleagues, and then the coach turned and tell them, you all have lost the match. I don't see any reason why you should be here exchanging words when we should be thinking about the way forward. Okay, we should be looking at the next game and the way forward. So the coach was like, I don't want to hear anything again from any player for you. So that was, I felt good listening to that, but I want to say this. We should be mindful of the words, not only players, but even coaches do the same thing, because we've equally heard coaches say, una be failure, I know tell una something, I una no execute them. Sometimes we as coaches should be mindful of the way we communicate, especially when it comes to defeat. You know, we know emotions always flare up when we are under pressure, especially when we experience defeat. But we should understand that sometimes our words at that point in time will do more harm than good. So we should be able to control and manage it.
I would like to take an example from myself.
Okay.
Back then, 27, that was 27.
2007?
2007, when I was still playing, we had to play a toast corp in Bamenda and all the rest. And I left Kumbu and I came to Bamenda, and I played one match in the quarter, and I was a very perfect goalkeeper. And they went and told by then, they went and told Pajo that we have seen a goalkeeper. That guy is the only guy that has been able to pick the shot of Chum. Because by then there was one guy, Chum, when he stick, bang! He passes, nobody touches. And the Pajo said, So he called me and came. I played the toast corp with him. He told me we started preparing for Finasco and all the rest. I was very good. But we went for one friendly match, and I had an injury, and I performed very badly. That day, the pa watched me with insult. And the truth is that as I left the field that day, and I told him that is all, and I left, and that was all about
all the positive memories.
And that was all about my own concerning football again, concerning that, and that was how my own football ended like that.
And somehow you have regrets, right?
I regret, but I am happy.
You're happy, no,
You're happy.
but at that point in time you had regrets, and this is to say that if for aspirants or for footballers who are already into the game, I don't think that is the best decision to take, because most times when you take decisions when you're angry, I bet you tend to regret those decisions.
You know, I was so hurt because I gave my best, but
no, we understand it happens. That's the game of football, and that is why we are using the press match as a platform to educate. We are using this platform to educate people to understand, because even the coaches some coaches need to be schooled. They do not understand that when your players do not execute the instructions you give them, or when your players lose a game, you as a coach, you're supposed to act as a father. We know that it hurts, but you are supposed to manage the situation. And if at that point in time, you as a coach say, una get out, una dégage, you've made matters worse.
And that was the end of my own football. When you look at it, my mate,
and we cannot encourage another player to
you have Jibero. Those are people I was playing with. I played with them. If you ask all of them, they'll tell you.
Today,
we played together. We
could be privileged to have a very fine player on this. We could be privileged to have a very fine, safe hand sitting with us on this platform.
We talk about the 3 games of the one that we played at the...
Well, my question to you was, Magdala raised up a great point. She said to her, just like the national president of Fika Foot, that the teams of Kumba were the best teams on the day. Well, I do not know what your opinion is, but I'm quite particular about this thing. We've seen FACO teams represent the Southwest region. Do you think it's time for Meme as well? Well, can Meme live up to it?
That is if they continue in that same way. If they continue with the pace.
He said for me, yeah?
For me, there's no time for any particular division.
No, there is time.
No, listen.
Yeah, let's listen to the point. Let me get to the point.
The season is just starting, and I was about to talk about the 3 games of day one. We had 6 teams that played at Muliko Stadium. Among the 6 teams, we had 5 that played last season mini interpols, apart from Buya United.
Yes.
Apart from Buya City.
Buya City, sorry.
Football club. Because what Legend, what Kumba City, what Tico United, and we have what Expo of Limbe. So, as well. Fako United as well. Thank you very much. When you look at the 5 teams, they've come back with a different project. For example, Fako United. When you look on the bench, we have Coach Len. That is no nonsense coach. The guy that brought Isosa to where we are today. You have behind him Coach Ayise, that is well known in Southwest. He has proven himself everywhere. He was among the people that brought Tico United to Victoria United to Elite 2. Beside him, you have Coach Bechem. Bechem that have worked with many categories of the national team of Cameroon. We have another young guy, that physical preparator. So that college of coaches, you know, for a team that to bring that college of coaches, it's not for tourism.
Shows you how ambitious they are.
It shows they are out for serious business. When you go the other way, we talk of Tico United. Tico United is not because they lose the first game. When I look around, I got another information because I like to investigate. There are some players that had injuries, small injuries. There are some players that had small administrative problems that they were probably their problems were about to be solved during the week. So during the next game, we're going to see a different Tico United. The 2 teams of Kumba, they have a lot of projects. They had a lot of plans for them, as you did mention. They want to bring an Elite 2 team to that town. The young guy of Legend, I talked to him, I discussed with him. He said this time around, he have only one problem: to be champion of Southwest and go for Interport. For the city mayor, for him, he have 2 problems. First of all, he's the city mayor. And for him, he wants to be the person to bring Elite 2 team in that town.
In Kumba?
Yes, because for now he's the city mayor. He wants to enter into the history of that city. That, hey, my city, K-Town, got the Elite team when I was the city mayor. So he has put a lot of budget and a lot of ambitions for this year. So you have to look and take it serious. For other teams also, you don't neglect them. Expo also. I want us to name teams that really I have observed, I've gone closer to them. Expo of Limbe, bringing somebody like Coach Sango Emmanuel Ndumeboso is not for tourism. Sango Emmanuel Ndumeboso that have refused Elite 1 teams, yes, to go to
a regional
league. It's not a secret. They have good salaries there in the Expo of Limbe. 100K per month, the salaries. The match bonuses are paid immediately after the game.
For players?
For players, yes. So all of them are loans. All of them, they are taking good care of them. I talked to that president, well taken care of. I talked to that president. He told me this time around, I met some small mistakes last year, and me and my staff, we tried to put our heads together to correct those small mistakes. That's why we have just brought in Coach Ndumeboso. We're not an academy. We are a team of Victoria. We are a team of City, a team that have written his name in the archives of Cameroon football. So we have to bring back that team to Elite. So this time around, people like options also. They're not out for small business. She did mention Best of Limbe. Best of Limbe that played the finals last season. Take care of that team. They don't make a lot of noise, but they are always playing a very big role so far as championship is concerned in that team. So this season is going to be a special one. I must say kudos to the organizing committee, the bureau members headed by the vibrant president Ndaze Valerie, because it was a special Saturday in Muliko. The governor was represented, what the regional delegate, all the authorities were there to make sure that days, and even the fans themselves, they were very happy, and the media men and women had more than 40, so it was a special day. Kudos, and we need the best to represent that season, that region, because this time around, good things are going to come out.
So you're trying to say let the best man win?
Yes.
Let the best man win. Well, no, the Northwest Regional League starts on March 22. As you know, one who would have played the Northwest Regional League or even the Elite One Championship, we do not know where your future would have taken you to or where your career would have taken you to. But what are your expectations for that the Northwest Regional League?
Actually, for the Northwest Regional League this year, I have no great expectation.
Really?
Regional League, yeah.
Why?
Because one, the preparation of the league has been so slow, and when you watch the preparation, you try to find out what is going on. You realize everything has been so slow and so calm. Even the teams themselves, you realize that when I try to talk with one or two persons around, the way they talk, sure the teams are so calm. They are not vibrant. If you remember, look at other teams like Legend that I've been watching over the media whatsoever and other teams. Yeah, they were so vibrant. But if you notice, for the past time, the teams in the Northwest Regional League, they have been so calm. None of them have been out. So this or this. So actually, I feel bad, but I am not expecting something much from the Northwest Regional League this year.
No, but for me, I'm expecting a lot. I see it the other way. For the preparation,
as quickly as possible, please.
The regional league, they did organize a small tournament, and I've been following some friendly games. Many teams are coming with a lot of ambition this time around. We have teams that, even team from your place, Kumbu Striker, the Keyboard Boys. The Keyboard Boys that are really preparing. We have teams like Manco United that is back. Manco United is back with a lot of ambition, with a lot of projects. Hey, guy, take care of Manco United. You remember me.
Okay. Well, last week we had, a quartet of referees recount the ordeals they face during the season. Right here on La Presse refait match, we saw alleging that just one match day had been played since the start of the championship. And the following day, a letter was then sent to the Secretary of State by elite referees requesting state intervention over unpaid bonuses. Well, let's take a look, or let's get more details in this report. Cameroonian referees are escalating their protests over unpaid bonuses for the 2024-2025 football season, despite the completion of the first phase of the championship. Through the Cameroon Referee Association, they have formally petitioned Secretary of State Ferdinand Gongo for state intervention, warning of a full boycott if their grievances remain unresolved. Former federal referee Marius Gigi revealed on STV's La Presse refait le match that only the bonuses for the first match day of the first 15-day championship have been paid.
Comment pouvez-vous estimer que nous sommes à la 15e journée du championnat?
How do you explain that we are the 15th day of the championship? Referees have received payment just for one day, which is the first match day. There are 14 unpaid match days. We have 8 games per day. 8 games times 14. And it is the last year of the current Fegafoot executive's mandate. Since their first year, we have unpaid games. First season, unpaid bonuses. The same for the second, the third, and the fourth season. And they pretend to pay for some days in the top tier. At the regional level, it's catastrophic. It's even worse at the divisional level. Historically, referees officiating Elite 1 matches receive 30,000 francs per game, while those in Elite 2 earned 20,000 francs. Under the Cameroon Professional Football League, these payments were supplemented with transportation, lodging and feeding allowances. However, recent years have seen a significant decline in such provisions. A referee going to play a game in Kribi or in Bamenda has to sleep at the travel agency to go officiate a game in the morning. Do you know that? Or a referee contacts his friend to sleep in their house so as to officiate a game in the morning. This financial neglect has pushed some referees into unethical practices to sustain their duties and families. Compounding the issue, referees have not received new equipment since 2021, forcing them to rely on outdated tools. Referees cannot easily be in uniform when it comes to officiating games because they do not have equipment. The president spoke of time to prepare. To do what exactly? Ask uniforms from their colleagues so they can be dressed as one? It's disturbing.
Pour faire quoi? Pour aller prendre les maillots des autres, pour être uniforme? Mais c'est très grave.
Beyond financial struggles, referees face violent backlash from fans, clubs and officials. Over the past 2 seasons, at least 2 referees were physically attacked by mobs alleging biased officiating.
Those who are committing disorder and trying to beat referees are those who have bet on the match. When you see somebody who has bet, who has bet, the only things that he wants is that the team that he's supporting must win the game. And when there is not a favorable result for him, the next thing that he will do will be to be aggressive against the referee.
These incidents are exacerbated by the lack of technological advancement in officiating tools compared to other leagues, which increases reliance on subjective judgment and fuels dispute.
Les pays développés travaillent avec combien d'arbitres? Ils travaillent avec 6 à 7 arbitres.
Developed countries work with 6 to 7 referees a game. Added to that, they have technological advancement. They get a second chance to rewatch the action in order to take the right decision. If developed countries adopted this, it's because they understand that refereeing is a difficult job.
Essayer d'aller dans ce sens-là, c'est parce qu'ils reconnaissent que l'arbitrage, c'est quelque chose de très, très difficile.
Referees have explicitly demanded full payment of their owed bonuses and improved the working conditions. Their threat to boycott the championship underscores the urgency of addressing systemic failures in football governance. Without immediate reforms, including transparent payment system, modern officiating tools, and safeguards against violence, Cameroon football risks losing credibility and stability. There you have it, at the end of the first part of the show. It's time for us to get over to the next segment where we talk about the games. Talk about the game. One game you should look forward to is definitely Cameroon against Eswatini tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's going to be an exciting one. World Cup qualifiers. The Indomitable Lions have jetted off to South Africa where they will play Eswatini. So it's definitely a match to look forward to. Ahead of the game where they will host the Libya here, I'm sure it's going to be in Yaoundé. It's going to be in Yaoundé. So it's going to be exciting. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Cameroon or Eswatini, Cameroon. Look forward to that. Now, let's come back to what concerns us, what's so close to us, which is the MTN Elite One Championship. Well, the first round has concluded. It's been 120 games with over 251 goals scored. We'll take a look at some of the top goals after this transition. Talk about some of the top goals scored in the first phase of the MTN Elite One Championship. Let's find out in this report.
à Tinda, messieurs.
Goal, securing Eagles' third victory of the season. Canon remains winless in their last 3 matches and will face Lesdac of Douala next Sunday in Douala. Have it, just a snippet of some of the goals scored in the NTN Elite One Championship. As quickly as possible, Sayani, so many goals. It might not be the one we've included. Is there any goal that stood out for you particularly this season?
Not many goals, even that of Chinda. I've seen that of Chinda. I've seen...
I say just pick one. I don't want so many.
One?
Pick one.
That of Chinda, maybe.
Okay, the one of Chinda that we saw here.
Yes.
Magdel, which one will it be for you? Any goal that stands out?
I don't want to call any other person's goal without and then leaving out Chindo Jumbo's goal because he has been incredible. So I'll definitely go for Chindo's goal.
Which one?
The goal against this guy always has beautiful goals. Which will I even choose?
The one against Union Sportive, one of them?
No, not against Union Sportive. Was also spectacular like that.
Okay.
Chindo has always...
Okay, Chindo. So any goal scored by Chindo is the best for you?
Yeah.
What about you, Emil?
I'll go for the goal of Nathan.
Okay.
Goal against Astre. That shows the professionality of
Okay, the one where he goes to the goalkeeper.
goes to the
Because it was
goalkeeper.
swift. That was a well calculated
The error of the
goal.
goalkeeper,
Yeah.
he takes over. So that tells you how swift and how good the attacker is.
And just to add to that, after the mistake, the defenders came back. He took his time to score the goal. If it was a player that's not technically powerful,
well calculated,
yes, he was not scoring that goal because the defenders were already back on the line.
Okay, just to add, because I
And
have
the
to say mine.
composure of Chindo John Bosco tells everything about it.
Yeah, I have to say mine, please.
Yours is Legend of Kumba.
No. Don't be like that, please. Don't be like that. So what mine is the goal Arsene Mangana scored against Pantes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I love that goal. The way it just got to him immediately, and he felt like he was sending a cross, but it wasn't a cross, and he just went in. And I think that was the winner for Astre of Douala against Panthère because they were down by 1 goal. They managed to equalize, and that got the winner for them. So
there's a goal that I forgot, but it wasn't among the images you just shot. The goal of the captain of Mumaso.
Yes,
Julien Mumaso. Against Colomb.
No, I think that was
at the military stadium. He was around 42 meters from the goalpost. When the ball came, he just
strike.
Yes, strike from around 42. It was 41, 42 meters.
Yeah, you know, we'll try as much as possible.
Yes, that is.
We'll try as much as possible to show these goals in our subsequent editions. You know, we tried as much as possible for people to see the beauty they are missing for those that are not coming into the stadium, and most especially the games. The second half is promising to be an even more intense affair. But talk about goals.
I must say kudos to you and your technical staff because...
no, technical staff. I don't have technical staff.
The technical staff here, the technical crew here.
Yeah, okay.
The technical crew here.
Okay.
Because...
Coach.
Yes,
Coach.
Sorry.
The
technical crew. The technical crew because it's not easy to have all those goals. At times, you have cameramen that when they go to the stadium at times, they don't have the goals. They need to go out to look for other friends to get the goals. So to have all these goals for now, I know this is not all the goals you have here. True. It's just these are just selected goals. You just pick them, but you are doing a good job.
Well, I'll take that to appreciate Zipia Desiré, Monsieur le Maire, for doing that job. He's always there. He's always there. I also want to extend a hand to Hekwa Leba as well. Leba too has been a really great support system for the show, and so important. It's always important to send out a shout out to those that have been helping us, because they say many hands, we cannot tie the bundle alone. We all have to come together. Now, talk about that. Let's look at the goal scorer chart. When that was made, we had what's his name, Difochu Bless, that was on 5 goals. Yes. But surprisingly, in their game against Fuevazu, he got a brace. He gets a brace, and he's now on 7 goals.
Like Serge Dura,
like Kalgonkada.
This is wonderful.
I mean, you look at the lineup of those. If you can get the picture on the screen of the top scorers, please. But when you look at it, you see about 2 players in one team. We talk about Kalgon Kada, we talk about Serge Dora on 7 goals. We talk about Aqua Lesis on 7 goals as well, with another teammate that is on 7 goals. And I ask myself, when we have a team or players in the same team that are leading the goal scorer chart, are we likely to see some sort of friction, especially when the second phase is coming up, when you want to become, you get some sort of selfish, I want to become the top scorer or something.
I hope it doesn't get to that level, but you're not far from the truth. That's the truth. No matter how we look at it, no matter how we twist it, it may get to that extent, because when you look at yourself competing with a teammate, it only tells you that you need to work harder. And on the pitch, if you have the opportunity to score, to become selfish because you want to get more goals and, of course, be on top, you're definitely going to do it. But we hope it doesn't get to that level.
Hope it doesn't get to that level.
A team like... it depends on the team. The team like Gazelle is a defending team. Why? Because the message or the pressure that other teams like Cotton Sport, like Bambutus, like Union, like Canon, like Colomb have, a Gazelle don't have that kind of pressure. And the coach of Gazelle, Alum Kada, is a very calm guy, and he takes guys like the players like friends and brothers, and the communication he gives this not the same communication we have in other teams. So for them, they play as a team. Gazelle, they play as a team. That's why you see when you are well placed, they give you the assist. When I'm well placed, you give me the assist. So that is the system in Gazelle. That's why you see many of them scoring. They play for the team. They don't play for themselves.
Difochu Bless, goalkeeper turned striker. I heard somewhere someone had said that Difochu Bless is not that of a striker that much, and that PWD should look for a better striker to assist Difochu Bless. Do you have the same notion?
Well, it came.
Now, I would like to...
Si on peut voir la photo des meilleurs buteurs sur l'écran et les meilleurs passeurs, ça va beaucoup aider. Merci beaucoup.
I would like to talk about Difochu Bless, and you know, there are some people that they might not be good to play in the field, but they have that ability to score. When you look at Haaland, he cannot control the ball for a longer distance, but he's a finisher. And that is what Difochu Bless is doing for PWD of Bamenda. We just need him to give us the goal.
You know, yes, to be honest, when I watched PWD of Bamenda play, which team was that? Was it Astre?
Yeah,
I think Astre at the Bonamusadi Stadium. To be very honest with you, I said it clearly.
Astre was at the annex stadium of Bepanda. 1-1.
Then that should be Union.
Okay.
And I made a statement. I was like, to be very honest with you, to be candid, I am not impressed
with
the way he plays.
Okay.
I'm not so impressed with the way he played that game in particular.
Okay, that
he was no. I've watched Difochu Bless's games, and like he said, arguably he's a good finisher, because we've seen how he scores goals. When he gets the opportunity, he sends to the back of the net. But I'm not very impressed with his play style, because if I tell you I'm not very impressed with Haaland, I'm sure you're going to cut my head off, but I'm not impressed with Haaland at all. Haaland as a player, it becomes so difficult for him to find himself or to get himself engaged in very tough matches or very big matches. And it's the same thing with Difochu Bless. They got a very hard time at the Bonamusadi Stadium when they played against their opponent. He was lost throughout the game because he did not get the opportunity to impose himself or to send goals or send balls at the back of the net to get the goals coming. But when he gets the opportunity, he sends them. He is a good finisher. But I'm not so impressed with his play style. When I say so, it's the same as Haaland. I'm not so impressed with Haaland because Haaland cannot, he doesn't engage so much. Football is a collective game. And as a finisher, you are expected as well to contribute to the ball that is going to come to you before you do the job as a finisher. But I was, like I said, I've watched like 3 of the Fortune Blesses matches. He doesn't get engaged into the game so much. He just wants to be comfortable and gets the ball and then he scores. And it's the same thing with Haaland. So I love Haaland as a striker, but I'm not so impressed with the players himself, honestly.
Okay.
For me, in the Fortune, I like the way he plays.
Okay.
For me, for football, it's the goal. If you can play for 90 minutes, for 80 minutes without touching the ball, you use the 10 last minutes and score 2 goals and give us the victory, it's okay.
To be honest with you, it doesn't make sense.
Any good coach will always tell you this. His role, the role of a striker,
is to score?
They call them the goal scorer. That's why today you have to make the difference between a striker or an attacker and a goal scorer.
But sometimes teams are looking for an all-rounder.
Yes, I know that. But at times also, majority of the teams, for example, what players? Let's go to our national team.
How about you running around the field for 85 minutes and then you use
let me just mention one name. For example, I have a problem today, even in forums. If you have been following the forums, I'm there. I'm not okay with this guy. They call him Magri. Yes, Magri is a good player. Yes, a striker. Yes, he plays well. But I cannot imagine that a striker like him plays 22 games. He's technically well. He assists. He did, and he scored all the 3 goals. For me, it doesn't make sense. And you cannot be expensive in the market, in the transfer market.
You know,
okay. For example, let me come back to 24. Most appreciate this guy. He was a goalkeeper like you before. I still remember when he started playing as a striker. This was around 6 years behind. He was in Young Sport Academy. Some players went for strike after the championship. They were about to play the Cameroon Cup against Cotton Sport of Garwa. That was at the Fekafoot Technical Center of Oja. So they had only, I think, 13 players. He was the striker that day. And he scored that day against Cotton Sport. That's when he started. When you look at his system today, he plays like Francois Omambik. If you have been lucky to see Francois Omambik, that's the way he plays. Today, let me just cut a long story short. Ask 20 coaches. You like a good attacker or a good scorer, they will only go in for a good scorer. Because guys, just go back and look this. You have Inzaghi in Italy. Filippo Inzaghi, at times you play, even at times, all the ball can touch the chest and internet, the back leg and internet. So the coaches and the teams, the fans, they need goals.
So it doesn't stop the fact that the player can do more and can do better. We had Emmanuel Mahop, who was a goalkeeper turned striker.
Yes.
But you cannot compare. Honestly, I cannot compare Mahop and the Fortune Bless.
Yes.
I think that
on what grounds exactly?
I'm talking about their abilities, the physical abilities, and the way, not just the qualities, but the way they engage themselves, they impose themselves in a match. As a striker, Mahop is more imposing in a game. He makes efforts to contribute to the goal that he is going to score.
He's more physical
and I think that the Fortune Bless can work on it. I am not saying that he's not a good player. I have said, I appreciate this guy. I've watched him play. He's good, yes. But I'm not so impressed. I think he can do more. As a striker, he's not just supposed to be relaxed and he waits for the ball to do the job, the finishing. No.
Concerning the Fortune Bless, one of the things that impressed me about him is, for a team to actually succeed in any league, you need a striker. You need a scorer. Without a scorer, you go nowhere. And if you notice, even like Manchester United is suffering today because they have no scorer.
Young Sport Academy have the same.
Young Sport Academy
play very well,
but they have no scorer.
They play very well.
Last year, Young Sport United succeeded because they had a scorer that was John Bosco that was there to give them the goal. And PWG is succeeding today because they have a scorer. If he was not there to be scoring, imagine those his goals that has taken PWG. They would have been maybe behind Young Sport Academy. Yes. So let's encourage him and tell him.
We are not What's the other word? Right? What's the other word that I'm supposed to use?
Well, we're not going
no,
to.
See,
sorry, we're not going to.
I'm sorry. A few minutes.
We're not going to.
I'm not saying that. I'm not demeaning this player. And
You're just saying he has to work better.
I think he needs to do better, and I'm not saying Zifocho is a bad player. What I think is
you're not impressed.
I'm not impressed, and we are only talking about the team because we are looking at the contribution he makes for the team. But we should look at the player himself. He needs to sell himself, and the player has dreams. It's his passion. He has dreams. So what if a club comes and says that you're a striker, but you're not complete? I think he needs to work on his physical abilities as well. I mean, he should be more flexible. Thank you.
Okay, flexibility. Well, I guess clubs need scorers, club needs all-rounders, and it's left to David Pagul to decide. He has the final say. Well, talk
scoring goals for him. It's okay with the That's it.
But also on a personal level too, he can pick up the advice and work to better himself. We'll see how that goes. Well, talk about the best passers as well. We have 5 players from Gazelle on that list. Serge Dora is there. We have, lots of names on it, and they have been leading that chat. But move over to Column Sportif of Dijan Lobo. If we can have Column stats on the screens, we have Column Sportif considered the least goal in the first half of the championship. Had Cedric Jomo that was played every game for Column Sportif in the first half. Boris Ekoto and Brice Sinjo. 2 new players that are leading the goal scorers chart for Column Sportif of the Jan Lobo. Do we say it was recruitment that paid off for them?
Okay. That brings me back to the issue of Zifocho. For example, Sinjo, former captain of Stade of Melon. Sinjo signed for Colombe, and there was a problem between Stade and Colombe because Stade didn't accept the departure. Finally, they came to a compromise to look for a solution. So he is now the player of Colombe. When the first game he played with Colombe was against Bambuchus of Buda. Bambuchus was leading by 1-0. He came from the bench with Eyango. Eyango scored and Sinjo scored. The second game, they had difficulties, Colombe. Sinjo scored again. He came from the bench and scored another goal. When you calculate the time that Sinjo have played for Colombe, it's not off to 90 minutes. But he has scored 5 goals. So he's more important than players that have played 10 games. So it brings us back to what I was just explaining here. True. So now when you talk of attackers, or when you talk of players, Colombe have at least 6 attackers. We tell you, hey, when you call Sinjo, say, hey, God have been giving us victories. His contract is quite okay because he's there to give them goals, and he has given them more than 10 points because of his goals, and coming from the bench to score the goals. So it is very, very important. You talk of the Congolese, we call him again. Ino, yes, he just started also
a hat trick. Player of the month of February.
Player of the month of February. Wow. So this is the kind of thing we need. We need strikers. And that's why I told you again, young sport, if you watch a game, it's not because they're down. They play very well. Again, the game against Cotton Sport at the Bamindi, they played, it was 50-50. But Cotton Sport made use of the chances.
We saw that was it like an on goal or something?
Yes,
it was
quite one on goal. Yeah, one on goal and the goal from Yuguda Carlos. So at the end of the day, the question is, who scored? They say Emil scored. Who won? Emil's team. It is over.
Final full stop. Emil's team got 3 points.
That is it.
I want us to look at fixtures for match day, the next match day 16 that comes up this weekend. La programmation de la 16e journée du championnat ce week-end.
Elite 1.
Elite One Championship. We look at the games that will be played. Aigle Royal Jimungo against the Stade Rennais of Melon. It will be at the Bonamoussadi Stadium, and Les Astres of Douala against none other than Union Sportive. Other really exciting fixtures to look at. Si on peut voir la programmation des matchs de la 16e journée, ça serait bien. Merci beaucoup. And yes, so look at those games as quickly as possible, those games that will be played this weekend. We talk about, the games in Douala, you already know them, and the games obviously in other parts. We have Young Sports Academy that will be hosting Victoria United to see how they go. That will be at the Bermondsey Stadium. Well, PWG will play Panthère Sportive du Day. PWG won Panthère in the first leg. Young Sport lost to Victoria United 0-3 in the first leg as well. Canon will play Bamboo Tours of Buddha. Colombe Sportive will play Coton Sport of Garoua. Feu Vazou Elite will play against Dynamo of Douala, and Ice Fortuna de Fou will play against Gazelle. Ice Fortuna actually won Gazelle in this game in the first leg, so we'll see how it goes in Yaoundé. Now, talk about this game. One game we should definitely focusing on is the game Astre of Douala against Union Sportive. That made headlines, and I regretted so much why I traveled on that day. I did not watch that game because it was like a thriller. 7 goals scored on that day. Union Sportive got the best of Astre of Douala, 4-3. Now it's a different dynamic. We have Coach Bonaventure Jonkep, no longer Anisette Bagafwe. Yes, so it's a different dynamic. But we visited, this team's training ground this morning. Coach Anisette Bagafwe tells us of how they have been training. Joel Pateng as well tells us.
Jonkep Bonaventure. Coach Jonkep Bonaventure.
Yes, thank you so much. Coach Jonkep Bonaventure tells us of how they have been preparing for that game. And also Joel Pateng tells us administration has actually brought in some positive energy, putting out some money for them as well, because clubs have been going through financial deals this week, but they're ready to take on Les Astres of Douala this weekend. Let's take a listen to them. Take a listen to the coach of Union Sportive of Douala, Bonaventure Jonkep, as he tells us how they have been preparing for the game against Les Astres of Douala.
La pause est terminée quand?
On reprend ce dimanche.
Ah bon, je ne savais pas. On a eu 2 à 3 jours de repos et on a repris par les fondamentaux. Et nous sommes en train de peaufiner nos armes pour le match de dimanche. Parce que tout le monde qui est là, le capitaine est malade et il a eu une crise de palu, il était hospitalisé, je crois qu'il est sorti. Maintenant là, c'est revenir vite pour retrouver le groupe.
J'ai vu avoir aussi le baron.
Lui aussi, il est, je sais pas, comme il est jeune, il doit avoir un problème dans le ventre. Au niveau du top, moi je fais des entraînements et je prépare les matchs. Je ne veux pas parler de beaucoup de choses à la fois, je ne suis pas administratif, je suis technique. Oui, le problème, ce n'est pas d'avoir les matchs à domicile, le problème c'est engranger les points. Vous savez qu'actuellement, avec le gazon qui est vert pour tout le monde, c'est difficile de prendre les points. Notre objectif, c'est sortir le plus rapidement possible de la zone de relégation pour regarder vers le haut du classement.
Une semaine que nous avons passé sans avoir championnat, ça a été une semaine un peu compliquée pour nous parce que nous avons fini le dernier match de la phase aller dans une défaite qui a été vraiment amère. C'est bien vrai que le match était à notre portée, mais on n'a pas pu la rendre facile. Donc, une semaine là, vraiment, tout le monde, tout un chacun était vraiment dans les calculs, comment est-ce qu'à aborder la phase de retour et comme ça. Mais la phase de retour, je crois que l'administration a colmaté les brèches. Le discours de l'administration a été positif pour nous galvaniser, afin de pouvoir mieux débuter la phase de retour qui va commencer dès la prochaine journée contre les Astres de Douala. Et nous espérons que durant cette rencontre, nous allons bien commencer la phase de retour avec un résultat positif dans cette équipe. Et tous nous en savons que le discours positif de l'administration, c'est galvaniser les joueurs, au moins se mettre un paquet. Mettre un paquet, certes, ce n'est pas ce que nous attendons, nous demandons, mais le geste compte. C'est le geste que nous retenons.
Que vous allez aborder le match là à Bonamoussadi?
Certes, non, ce n'est pas comme ça que nous allons aborder. Nous allons encore plus l'aborder très très sérieusement. Parce que la phase aller, nous ne sommes plus sur ça. Maintenant, on pense à la phase retour. C'est un autre championnat pour nous. Nous sommes pratiquement avant-dernier du classement, chose qui n'est pas, ce n'est pas notre place là-bas. Donc, nous avons juste besoin du troisième joueur qui doit être les supporters, de continuer à nous encourager et de nous galvaniser toujours. Donc voilà, nous allons aborder le match contre Astre de la phase retour très très sérieusement et nous espérons que la victoire puisse venir là.
There you have it, players and the technical team all preparing for that game. But since we have just 7 minutes on the clock, what are your expectations for the return phase? I'll start with you, KZ Emil. We'll go around the table before we bid our farewells. What are your expectations, young sports supporter, PWG supporter? What do you have to tell these people, and what are you looking forward to this weekend?
For the return phase is going to be very tight because nobody is ready to give up, and nobody is ready to drop, and it is a determined stage where talks about everything. But the truth is, I have faith for PWG that they will stay. It's young sport that we are still dangling, but we are counting on the new coach to prove to us that he is able by taking us out of the red zone to the right part of it. And I believe the match against Victoria that's going to take place in Birmingham is going to be very tough because the coach have to prove his presence. I have to prove that I am able and I'm going to do it. And I believe he is going to do it, and Young Sport is going to take victory for that day.
Where will your eyes be? In as much as will your eyes be in
my eyes will be it's going to be in the match against Astre against Union de Douala. Actually, I love the football of Astre. They play the ball on the field. They play it on the ground, and you can really enjoy good football.
Okay. But your heart will be in Bamenzi.
My heart will be in Bamenzi.
So your eyes in Douala, your heart in Bamenzi.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, with you, Sayani, expectations for the return phase of the championship, where your heart and eyes will be this weekend.
I am always going around. On Sunday, I will be at the Bonamusadi Stadium for the 2 games you did mention. I will be there after the games. I will leave Douala for Yaoundé. And let me not talk about the Lions again. After the games on Sunday, we have 2 games on Wednesday in Yaoundé. That is Coton against Colombe, Canon against Bamoutos. Then on Thursday also we also have 2 games in Yaoundé. AS Fortuna against Gazelle, and Fobazou is going to be to host Dynamo. So Sunday in Douala, Wednesday, Thursday in Yaoundé. So I'll be going around.
Okay.
As usual.
As usual. But what are your expectations though?
We are going to see a very difficult second phase because even the teams that are down, some of them, as he did mention, they've got some adjustment, like Young Sport. That have brought in Coach Alexander Belinga, one of the most serious, disciplined, and respectful coach we have in Cameroon. Maybe he's going to change something, or bring new blood to that team or new spirit. Team like Colombe, that have been top in the league, for now they have all to win, to be sincere, because when I follow them, the administration have been doing everything to make sure they have the victories. Gazelle, that is, have been leaving us 2-10 also, is seriously preparing, while the defeat that Cotton Sport had against PWG, they're coming down with fire. So Cotton Sport is coming down with fire, and Chindo John Bosco and his teammates are coming to Yaoundé, not for tourism, for serious business.
Aigle Royal also have their Portuguese coach.
So it's coming from Argentina.
Argentina, sorry, yeah, the Argentina. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Second assistant.
They brought
an Argentinian coach. Second
assistant coach. Oh well, maybe it's a young coach that is coming to Cameroon to learn. He's coming to Cameroon to. We are going to see on the pitch this second round. Difficult to give a prognostic. Okay. Difficult to give a score before to focus a game.
Okay, Magdale.
Well, we already know for a fact that the second round is going to be very, very, very intense. We are highly anticipating the second round. It remains a fair and square game, because in the second round is going to determine who goes and who stays. So we are anticipating a very exciting, intense, and very tight football or second phase of the league, of the championship. So we'll finish again by saying that let the best man win, but those who are down can equally strive to maintain.
Well, on 7 points, can Young Sports Academy do the business? It's definitely what we will find out this weekend, because they are hosting Victoria United. Title holders will still nurse the ambition to become champions of the MTN Elite One Championship. The second phase, or the return leg of the championship, promises to be exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you take a rendezvous across stadia of the country. Have a wonderful time. Thank you, everyone, for honoring our invite. Thank you for staying tuned. And make sure you watch the rebroadcast on Thursday and on Saturday, 7:30 to 9 a.m. on Saturday. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.